Good morning to everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News correspondent for Real American Sports News and the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Thank you so much for joining in. It's a pleasure to talk to you guys this morning. And I want to just make a video meanwhile I'm driving to my destination. I wanted to talk to you guys about what a complete disaster this administration is in terms to immigration. And this the only thing that I will say in terms to my perception of what this administration and how this administration is looking in terms to immigration. It is a complete disaster. And I don't know what's apparently there has been a halt on Title 42, and inevitably this halt on Title 42 is creating the idea that migrants are going to be allowed in again in the United States with the apparent idea to be accepted into the asylum and refugee. This is the situation. This is what I try to understand. Apparently, I don't know if it was the ACLU or some kind of organization halted Title 42, and it's not confirmed yet. I don't know. I haven't confirmed it yet. But apparently, uh, there's not going to be deportations of migrants due to the fact that Title 42 has been halted, and it is also against the law of the United States to avoid or to try to be a some kind of a barrier for people to ask asylum in the territory of the United States. Apparently, these law organizations, has been put in a petition to hold Title 42 and to ultimately give the migrants the apparent idea that they can't, ask for asylum in the territory of the United States. This is the problem that I see. When you do this kind of situation, you spread a lot of misinformation around, and this is all leftists, all of them. They're leftists, tabloids, uh, uh, you know, uh, medias and social medias. They start spreading all this misinformation that creates an idea for migrants to say, hey, you know what? I am going to embark myself on this travesty again. So you open the market in the Darien Gap, you open the market in Central and South America, you start opening the market again for the enormous trafficking. Instead of helping, you are provoking again this humanitarian business that now has become the biggest and the most lucrative humanitarian business in the world, that is the asylum and refugee. It is what it is, and it has become that. And sadly, when you say this kind of information, and when you are basically spreading this kind of information through all mainstream medias to all outlets, you are provoking that several organized crime and cartel starts acting immediately in terms to say, you know what, it's possibly open again. And because you haven't confirmed who qualifies, how the process is going to be, if a judge is going to hold it or not, if they're going to go ahead and stop Title 42 from operating, you don't say anything. And because of that, you have a lot of people now requesting and trying to say, hey, you know what? We we are, we have a possibility of going again. So you have this now idea that is going to reopen again into the migrant population, and that is ultimately has created now again the ideology of coming, walking, and doing all this kind of stuff. It is so disorganized is how immigration has been handled for a lot of years now. We have been traveling with migrant caravans more than 10. We have been doing this exhaustive and exacerbated investigation of immigration and the immigration phenomenon for going on 4 to 5 years. And as we have been doing this, I have been seeing how immigration has become so abusive in so Central American countries and South American countries, full of corruption. But the countries that really surprised me the most in my experience of all of these years broadcasting the reality and truth and raw and uncut video, it is between the borders of Mexico and the United States. And it is so much corruption, so much money, so much abuse that the only ones that they're being used right now and manipulated mindly are the people that they are in vulnerable cases of asylum and the migrants themselves. And no, there's no clarification. There's no, this is what's going on, this is what is happening, this is what we're going to do, this is the process. No, it's not open. Yes, it is open. Yes, it is open for a certain quantity of people. Yes, it is being cleared. And a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, it's been cleared. Kamala Harris went to Guatemala and said, do not come. And several people, you have opened your mouth so many times and you have changed your mind so many times that it's like changing socks every morning. This administration has changed the immigration situation every day. And you have, the House Speaker, Karen Jean-Pierre, every morning speaking and saying the border is closed. It is not closed, for God's sake. These people that they say that is closed are so incompetent. And these are people that they're sitting down on a desk and not doing squat about reporting and reality and going and seeing, my God, there's an open border, an open gap port of entry. They're coming in by the thousands. People are coming in by the thousands to a non-port of entry. What is that? Is that a border that is secured, or that is a border that is completely wide open for people to enter and to ask for petition of asylum? I'm a pro-migrant myself. I am for legal migration. I am for the ideology that migration is a right, and migration should be a right, and nobody should stand in the middle of people asking for a right to ask for asylum. But in those rights, there are laws. And the administration of the United States of America has failed to basically, subject the law, basically apply the law, and ultimately to inform how the law needs to be operated. Because of this, administration has done a horrible job on doing that. Because of that, you will have this situation. You will have this situation that it comes with a lot of irregularities, a lot of illegalities, that in terms to trafficking of people, trafficking of humans, trafficking of children, what these leftists and these liberals say, that they do not exist, that it's non-existent, that this is so creating hysteria at the border, that you're fear-mongering, that you are a conspiracy theorist, and they start spreading all this hatred towards us that we have been informing about how every border is so insecure for people that they're migrating and people that they have vulnerability to migrate. Now you have another speculation that is, we don't even know what the hell is going to happen. A lot of people have told me, what is your opinion on Title 42? I don't want to opinion on Title 42. I have a different type of opinions, and a lot of people are going to get their feelings hurt if I start speaking about Title 42. So I don't want to talk about it. But in terms to the obvious, that is, this administration has failed with immigration. It is so obvious. It is really obvious that this has been an administration that has failed completely, not only to their own country, but ultimately the effect and the domino effect that has the collateral damage that they have caused to Mexico, to Guatemala, to Nicaragua, to Honduras, to Ecuador, to Peru, to Bolivia, to Costa Rica, to Panama, to Venezuela, to Colombia, to all of these countries. It is just enormous. And you don't even imagine the animosity that they have created in terms to governments, saying, oh my God, now they're going to open up again. Oh my God, now they're going to close again. Oh my God. And the ones that they look bad are the government themselves in Central and South America, when they are only just a country that is trying to survive, a country that is trying to move forward, a country that is trying to do the best that they can, a country that now, because of all this extracurricular activity and all these people migrating massively through their countries, now there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of organized crime operating, there's a lot of things that they are going, that they are you know, that they're illicit, and now you are taking advantage of people that they're trying to migrate and go to the United States. Now you have corrupt officials. Now you have corrupt organizations. Now you have corrupt groups, corrupt fake lawyers, fake activists. You have all of this market that it was just sitting right there, and you completely open it again. This administration has failed enormously on how to communicate and how to say, you know what, this is what is going on with immigration. This is how we're going to handle immigration. This is what immigration in the United States stands for. This is not what immigration in the United States stands for. I don't understand the United States is a country of immigrants. I'm an immigrant myself. I'm a migrant myself. I understand that, but you cannot have this irregular migration on every country. It is undeniably unexplainable. And everybody deserves a chance for a better life. Everybody deserves a chance for a better opportunity. Everybody deserves that. But when you do all this massive movement of people continuously, you have a lot of things that they don't put attention to. And this administration has failed to do that. Has not put attention to the sensitivity of people having a lot of problems. There hasn't have the attention and the detail to understand that this massive influx has a lot of infiltrated people, a lot of bad people, that they're coming, and it is a reality, a lot, and it has been shown on multiple videos, it has been shown on multiple situations, it has been shown on everything. Irregular migrations and mass migrations need to be filtered, and this is a reality. And when you have an announcement that possibly Title 42 is going to be halted, the thing is that I'm a pro-migrant, so I can tell you it's good the migrants get the opportunity to do it in a legal fashion way, and try to get their petition in. It doesn't hurt to go in and say, you know what, this is my case. It's not accepted. You need to go back. All right, well, I tried. Do it, the proper way, through a port of entry or through a process that a lawyer tells you, you know what, this is the process. But when you're provoking this kind of misinformation and to say, hey, you know what, Title 42 is going to be halted, and you spread it all over Central and South America, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think it's going to happen? Do you think the organized crime and the cartel are going to say, hey, you know what, they're going to, that Title 42, they don't even know, a lot of them, they don't even know about Title 42. A lot of them, they're well studied, and they know about Title 42. They know what Title 42 stands for, and they know exactly what the intentions of Title 42 are for. It's just unbelievable. This is a really harsh comment. Mass migration of, there's some really, derogatory in comments that I don't accept. And, that is your opinion. I don't have a perception of people like that. There's a lot of good migrants coming in into every country. A lot of them, they're coming into the United States of America. They're doctors, lawyers, engineers, architects. A lot of them, they have the ability to provide a better life into every country. Migration has always been a right. If you don't agree with it, you're wrong. That's my perception. If you think that the United States should be closed into a bubble, well, close your importing and exporting and see what happens. If you're from this kind of ideology that say, you know what, close the border, then close your importing and exporting and close everything that you're exporting, because the United States capita and the United States economy, it is based on international and exporting and importing, on international trade. How are you going to close it? You're going to shoot yourself in the foot. Nobody has ever closed it. Even the past president, the 45th president of the United States of America, Donald Trump, did not close it. Securing the border is something different than closing the border. You cannot close a border. You will close your economy. You will close everything. Securing the border, it is something different. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Voice News. Where am I going? I'm supposed to make a left right here. Good morning to everybody. It is so nice to say hello to you guys this morning. And it is so nice to say hello to you guys on this beautiful morning in Tijuana, Mexico. Thank you so much for joining in. How's everybody doing? Good morning to everybody. This administration has been a complete disaster in terms of immigration, man. And nobody can say the opposite. Whoever says the opposite, it is because it's plainly blind. They're blind, really. And there's no way that you can hold an argument with a person that says that this administration has done a good job on immigration. This is the worst that I've seen it in my life. The worst that I've seen it in my life. And they play with human beings. They play with migrants like they are product. They're not a product. They're not a challenge. They're not a trophy. They're people. You should acknowledge that. We are human beings. These are human beings that they are being lied to, played to, and there are a lot of them. They're sleeping at a migrant camp in Juarez in a canal, waiting for a solution, sleeping out there in the cold. Why you create this idea? And the ones that they're creating hysteria is you, nobody else. The leftists and the administration of this president of the United States, they're the ones that they're creating the hysteria, not only in their country, but they're creating the hysteria in our country of Mexico, and also they're creating hysteria in Central and South America. They're the ones that they're creating the hysteria. Thank you so much for joining in. I will accept your comments. Schumer stated that their goal is to give 11 million amnesty. The question is why? Well, I remember Reagan did it. Didn't Reagan, one of the best presidents in history of the United States, did an amnesty? I will read your comments right here. The Biden administration is not for the American people. It's all about the global community. Many of these migrants are traveling through countries. Don't blame it at all on the USA. Hold on a minute. Say, don't blame it at all at the USA. I'm not blaming it on the United States citizens. The Biden administration is the one that is from the United States of America. Who opened their mouth that it was open? We understand that it's a global community. We understand that it's a global compact on migration. And we understand that a lot of countries have to be part of this. But where is the number one goal? Is it to migrate to Mexico? Is it to migrate to Guatemala? Is it to migrate to Nicaragua? Do you remember your 46th president, whether you like it or not, he is your president, and the debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden? Do you remember what he said? That he was going to open the border for 125,000 every month, and also not only that he was going to give 11 million people the opportunity to have a better pathway to citizenship. Who's the country that is doing that? You have to be responsible. And somebody needs to be held accountable for every single person that has died along the way. A lot of migrants have said, why you're stopping it? A lot of migrants from Venezuela, they have said, why, Biden, you're stopping it right now when you could have done this from the start and you could avoid a lot of people dying in the Darien Gap. A lot of people died in the Darien Gap trying to go to the United States of America because you have an incompetent president opening up his mouth and saying, you know what, it's open for the world. Somebody needs to be held accountable. 11 million people who mostly live in garages. That is so insulting and denigrating. No, it's not. You're just wrong. So insulting. Your language. Wow. It tells me a lot about yourself. But it's your opinion. It's Biden and Mayorkas. All of it is fault. You have another one that is in charge of the DHS that he doesn't know how to do his job. Clearly, everybody knows that Alejandro Mayorkas does not know how to do his job. It's obvious. You should visit California. They live in garages. A lot of people, they live in garages. A lot of people, a lot of Americans, they live in garages because they can't afford to rent. What are you talking about? That's a really deep comment, Oscar. When do you think the caravans with Venezuelan will start crossing? It's not there's no caravans. There's groups, and the caravans have decreased because the Mexican government has found a way, in the south of the border, has found a way to halt, in a way, activists that they were creating caravans, and also not only that, but to move them around into different municipal cities, into different parts of the state of Chiapas. So it has been a strategy of the Mexican government to decrease those movements, but ultimately the people that they are located in the border between Mexico and the United States of America, it is different. These are large groups. They are waiting, and these are thousands of people that they are waiting for the opportunity to get that opportunity to ask for a petition for asylum and refugee. Nobody's. If you deny that, that is against the United States law. You cannot deny a petition for asylum and refugee. There's a process how to do it, and they're doing wrong the process. A lot of these people are doing wrong the process. Yes, they are. But you cannot go against the United States law. The law says that you can ask for asylum and refugee in American territory. It says like that. It says like that. We're having big problems in the U.S. Your main concern, and let me tell you, a lot of people are saying taking housing from. I don't agree with that. What I agree, it's you're saying migrants are taking housing from Americans. Let me tell you something. It is not the migrants. And if you have this idea, let me explain to you who it is. The ones that have your economy so bad, who is it? Your politicians. The ones that have your inflation right now, who is it? The justification for a lot of these leftist liberals is that inflation is all over the world, so it is justifiable. The ones that they have the border so insecure right now that cartels are pouring in and they're working on both sides of the border, who is it? The ones that they have this gender ideology rubbing through your throats in your schools, and also in through the parents of every school and every part of the United States of America, who is it? The ones that they have your country so divided by race that every time that something happens in race, you have a radical Marxist group that is called Black Lives Matter that is there to divide, is not even there to help, and they are creating all this division, rioting, and looting. Who is it? The ones that they have all this insecurity in Chicago, all this insecurity in Baltimore, all these homeless people outside living in the streets in California. Who are they? Your politicians. It's the time. It's so important that this is what really it bothers me. A lot of the people that they're on the Republican Party, a lot of them, they say, you know what, it was stolen, Oscar. They're cheating, Oscar. Am I wrong or am I right? Stop the complaining about it was stolen. Stop the complaining about the election was rigged. Stop the complaining about this. It's time for action. It's time to do something about it. It is not provoking. It is not creating violence. It is not creating division. It is about standing for it is right, for what you think. It is about that. If you feel that in your school they're pressing and they're bringing all these liberal ideologies, it is time to stand in the school board and say, this is what is happening. I do not agree with this. Little by little in your communities, in your societies, in every school reunion, in every school meeting, in every precinct meeting, and whatever you want, in every political meeting that is in your movement, in your community, it is time to get involved. It is not time to sit back and relax. Democrats, what they do, they get involved. Sorry, but it is a reality. They get involved. And whether you like it or not, whether they cheat or not, whether they play dirty or not, they get involved. And it is a sad reality that the Democratic Party has the majority. It's a lot of these young people that they believe on these liberal ideologies, these Marxist liberal ideologies. And this is the problem, that the Republican Party needs to have youth, needs to have the young people coming in with a movement that if it is not even suitable for the Republican Party, the hell with it. It is a movement that it counterparts what the liberal agenda it is doing. The youth, the young kids, that they do not agree, that they do not stand with the liberal ideologies of these Democrats, that is plain liberalism, an evil and demonic movement. There needs to be a movement of young kids that stands against, and they need to stand up. They don't need to be afraid. And there's a lot of them, man. But they're afraid to stand up because they get bullied by all these liberals, that they are progressively being a bully and oppressing the population with their language, as to say, if you stand up against them, you're going to be a fear monger, you're going to be creating hysteria, you're going to be a conspiracy theorist, you're going to be a fear monger, conspiracy creating hysteria, the voter, white supremacist, white imperialist. You're not woke. You are transphobic, homophobic, pronoun phobic, xenophobic. You are everything that has to do with phobia. Also, you are a fascist. You are a racist. So you are oppressed. But instead of, you have to be this is the time for these new generation, these new kids of that they are, that they are not agreeing with this liberal agenda, to stand up and say, the hell with your language of oppression. You're the one that is fascist. You're the one that is racist. I'm just standing for what I was raised upon. And this is the values that they need to be implemented in the United States. You know what? A lot of it is happening in Mexico. All this liberal progressiveness is coming, and sadly, I gotta say it, it's coming from the United States to our country. Mexico is a really conservative country in terms to still preserving conservative values. It is not about all conservatism, but it has the conservative values, and to respect the family, respect the parents, and to go to school, get your college, and do this, do that. We have a lot of corruption, and it's not the fault of the citizens. We have a lot of failed states. It's not the fault of the citizens. It's the fault of the system. It is the fault of this contaminated, terrorist groups, that they are cartel, that they are terrorizing our families, our security, our lives, our communities, our cities, our states, our country. It is not the fault of the citizens that we are like this, that we have been implemented this idea that we're third world class citizens. It is not our fault. It is the fault of these politicians in our country of Mexico. Don't let that be a normalized thing in your country. Don't let that be a normalized thing to be in your country. Don't let that be don't normalize yourself and to say, we lost another election. The voters, 100,000 today, 200,000 today, 300,000 today. And more people are dying in Baltimore. More insecurity in Chicago. They just passed another liberal progressive, gender policy. These liberals. Don't normalize that. When you get comfortable with that, now you are having a problem. And the problem is that they have become, a lot of Americans, they have become passive. They have become complicit. They have become so comfortable with this liberalism that is now being accepted as to be, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to have all these progressiveness and all these laws that they're completely liberal in our country. It's okay. Let them be. Let them be. Come on. They have their own right. Let them be. Cruel reality. Comment right here. Venezuelans are coming from being freeloaders. I don't agree with that. That is the most unassertive comment and uneducated comment on Venezuelans that I have heard. They're not coming from being freeloaders. I will tell you what it is. They're coming from a communist system where they are being paid $3 a month, and they're being paid that because the communist system gives you all these bonuses and these food bags to you to take care of yourself every month. So they're not coming from a freeloading country. They're coming from a beautiful country. Hardworking people from Venezuela are really hardworking and beautiful people, really intelligent people that they have been oppressed and they have been under a dictatorship of communists and socialists, which you don't want in your country. You don't want this to be your government giving you handouts instead of creating a better citizen and a better person of you to be a great individual in society, and to be a good worker and a good provider to your country. What they're doing in Venezuela, they took that away and they converted it into communism and socialism. If you do not know what are the 10 steps from converting yourself from a socialist country into a communist country, I suggest that you read Karl Marx and Engels, so you can understand how people are converted into just being a person that goes and does a line to receive a soap, to receive some bag of rice, and to receive a bag of beans, and to make them understand that that is okay, to make them understand that that is a good life, to make them understand that that is a way of life, to make them understand that that is a particular way for you to survive, and that the country is doing great and the economy is doing great, and that you being paid $3 a month, it is fantastic. So that is the idea of them, to create an incompetent generation. All this new generation, sadly, from Venezuela, they only know communism and socialism. If you are against communism and socialism, and if you're pro-humanity like me, you will teach these young kids as the education that you have. Try to take it as an advantage and teach these young kids, to tell them that is not the way. A communist country has never worked. A lot of people are fleeing from communist countries, from socialist countries. Venezuelan people are hardworking people. I have walked with hundreds of migrants from Venezuela that they're doctors, they're engineers, they're architects, they're teachers, they're models. A lot of these people have the potential to survive and to be good individuals. A lot of them, they're not good people, like every mass migration. A lot of them, they don't know what to do. A lot of them, they know what to do, and they know what to exercise in their profession to be a better citizen. Not because of one, you have to generalize the whole country. It is me like saying, oh, the United States is going through a liberal progressive situation, so the whole country is like that. I'm not going to generalize like that, right? This is a comment that pretty much it summers it comes down to this. It says, don't don't they understand that this is where it's headed? Why you're thinking like that? Why are you thinking that that is where it's headed? You sound like defeated. You sound like you're already done. You sound like you're giving up. It sounds like that. You're giving me the impression that you're giving up. You're giving me the understanding that you're not going to fight for your country. You're giving me that understanding. You are not. And you will not be converted into a communist and socialist country. The United States is a great country. The greatest country that exists in the world, for the land of opportunity, and the land of the free, and the home of the brave, and the only country that has experienced and has done an experiment on what it comes freedom. It is the only country that has done an experiment with a word that is called freedom. And because they did that experiment, it is the flame that survives in every single American. Every single American has this flame inside of their bodies that is called freedom. They know what freedom is about. They know what a great life it is about. They know that they were born to be free. And they lived, and they have lived through generations of greatest economies, and they have fought so many wars, and they have created so much beautiful music, so much talented artists. They have created so much, better, biggest organizations. They have gone so many times to outer space. They have competed in so many Olympics and won so many medals. Really important. Do you keep that light in your body? Keep that light. When that light it is turned off, you have become one of them. You are becoming a piece of the puzzle. Don't be that piece of the puzzle. Be the puzzle itself. Don't be the piece of the puzzle. Be the puzzle itself. You're completed. You're complete. You're intact. When you're making these kind of comments, it makes you understand that you're done, that you're tired. Thank you so much for joining in. God bless you, every single one of you. It's nice to talk to you guys this morning. And we got a big surprise for you guys coming up. But I will reserve myself with that. But we got a big surprise for you coming up. Big surprise. So be sure to be watching our broadcast, and be sure to be watching our platforms. Thank you, and thank you. We're about to go get some coffee. I believe that is the best thing that it can happen to a human being every morning. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I believe that is the best thing that it can happen to a human being every morning. Drink coffee. I believe that is the most unimaginable, beautiful taste of every morning, that is to drink coffee. I don't know if you guys enjoy, but I enjoy my coffee, man. It's nothing better than enjoying a cup of coffee. I think it is one of the most beautiful things. And just to add, I think that is when you're becoming much older and more mature. I'm 41 right now. I'm going on 42 on January, by the way. But I feel great. I feel great. I've been training, losing a lot of weight, training boxing and all this kind of stuff. But when you become much older and much mature, you become to understand that, drinking a cup of coffee and being alone by yourself and with nobody else, and meanwhile you're drinking that cup of coffee, it is one of the most amazing moments in a day, isn't it? I don't know if I'm alone with this and if I'm the only one rolling with the punches on this idea, but when you're drinking a cup of coffee alone with nobody bothering you and just enjoying that cup and possibly looking at the dog and be like, hey, dog, or the cat and be like, hey, cat. Those are the moments, the most beautiful moments in the day. I don't know if I'm wrong or if I'm right, but I've been experiencing that for quite some time now. And I've been I got to tell you, my morning coffee, it is my therapy, man. I have to have it. It's my therapy. I enjoy it so much. I have to just sit down and hear the news, or sit down and watch a couple of friends of mine that they're networking and they're giving out the news. And I watch the news and I'm alone with my coffee. Don't bother me, man. It is the best thing that exists. Leave me the hell alone. It is my moment. I don't know. Thank you so much for joining in. God bless you. Has been nice talking to you guys this morning. Stay safe. Blessings for every single one of you, man. Blessings, blessings, and blessings for every single one of you. Think that it's undeniably really important to every day to appreciate life and to say thank you to God. It doesn't even matter where you sit down and pray. But the most important thing is that you acknowledge that He's there and you say thank you to Him. That's the most important thing. So God bless you guys. Stay safe. And like we always say, people, peace and love. Because always your country's first. God bless.